Well, hello loves and happy Sunday to you. We are creating the best grungy goodness I have created in a very long time today. So let's talk about the supplies for today's project. So down here on my table is my art journal, and this is just chaos perfection right here. And this grungy, I want to try and bring it up and see if the camera will capture. It is just, so good. And I can't wait to explain all the goodness, but let's just go over the supplies. So super simple. 3 colors: black, white, and raw umber. That is it. So I used matte gel to put my papers down, which were just some bits from my stash. These are actually, some of them are collage packs, and if I can figure out which ones I used, I will put those in the put that in the blog post, and they can be on sale this week. And I put my collage papers down. Actually, first I forgot to turn the camera on and did my stencil work with my spray paint, and then realized I hadn't filmed that, and I thought, well, you know what? It's perfect. It's just perfect for what this represents and just where I was at and creating. So as you see me start this piece, I've already got some spray paint. I used my spray paint and stenciled, sprayed with my stencils. And then I come back over it with gesso and cover it all back up. And then I do it again. And it just represents so perfectly what I'll share at the end of the video for this page. And I used my Utrecht gesso, so black spray paint, and then I came back and used, numbers jumbled, journal writing, and the vintage process stencil, which were perfect for this. And you'll also see me in the video I'm drying, and I'm using, you can see how grungy this is, but I continue to, as I'm drying, scrape back on my page, and it creates this texture because some of the paint's dry and it's kind of scraping through that, and it's revealing a little bit of the layers, all these little scratchy marks. I will do that again. That was just so yummy. So I do that, and then I will add, I just used some raw umber and a little bit of water and kind of aged up some areas. I used a little bit of black paint in some areas, and then I spray painted, actually I didn't, I spray painted white here and let that drip. I just dripped some black paint over here. I used my black Indie ink and a very small round brush to do my writing, and it's gorgeous, just gorgeous like this. It's just very raw and real, and I love that. I did use my charcoal pencil for some, I had a lot to say on this page, so I did a lot of writing. And trying to think, I used some golden high flow for this drippy part down here. I used some other, these are some, this is rice paper that I had sprayed with my spray paint and some of my stencils for some that I have left in my collage fodder stack. That's never ending. This was just a photo that I had in my stash, and it's just this old kind of worn out window, and again, perfect for this page. That's really it. It was super simple. I used my gesso, this is my white, black, and raw umber. I used my Stabilo All pencil for the back because I did a lot of writing in the background too. Had a lot to say. And white charcoal pencil for some additional scratchy marks. I could just go. I almost did. It took me a long time to stop because I was in the moment. And that is it. Okay, so those are the supplies for today's project. All of the supply links will be down below in the YouTube description box that leads you to the blog where you can see them and click on them and all that kind of stuff. All right, so I hope you enjoy the project. Super freeing and so yummy good. Grungy goodness, just really free. So I hope you stick around for the conversation at the end because I'm going to talk about the meaning and everything about this page. All right, loves, that was fun. That was needed. This page was so good. So grungy and freeing, and I just poured so much into this page. It came, I mean, it was fast. I was done in maybe 25 minutes, fast. From the time I thought about it to I ran to get my things to creating, 25 minutes, fast. I love that. Love it when that happens. So a couple things this week. Wanderlust 2022, we're coming down to the close for sign up, and you can still sign up at a discounted price for the next couple of days. I'll have that information down below. The Mixed Media Art Summit still available for sign up. It's the early bird has closed, but there's still a discounted price for that as well. I think that is it. All right, so let's talk really quick about the meaning of this piece. So in December, as a business owner, in December, I start reflecting on the events of the year and what we did right and what we need to improve, and then, you know, kind of go over all the things that I laid out that we were supposed to accomplish, and then make new plans, and I list out, you know, all the new workshops that I want to do and all that kind of stuff. Well, as I started to do that, I got really mad. I got really angry because 2021 was just yucky. It was just really hard. And when I was looking back at all my notes and my journaling and my word for the year was grounded. And when I read that, I was reading all my notes. I was so optimistic about what 2021 held. And my word for the year was grounded. I laughed out loud because I was anything but grounded for 2021. I went through so many different levels of highs and lows and depression, and you've watched me journey through this last year, and through the flood and through loss, and through just, all the things. And when I was looking at, what I wanted to accomplish for 2021 for the business, it was just, we were just hanging on for the ride. We were just trying to survive, basically. And so I got really mad, and then I laughed, and I thought part of it was funny, like my word grounded, and so as I was doing this planning, and I was like, okay, so that's that. Let's make a plan for the new year. I'm like, I don't even know how do I make a plan? And then I got mad again. And so within seconds, I grabbed my journal because I could feel it, and I knew that I needed to pour it out. And so as we look here, this of course says reflect, because that's what I was doing. And I needed to just make this chaotic, because that's what 2021 felt like for me. It was messy. Nothing was right. And like when I started this journal page and I forgot to turn on the camera and I went back over things with Gesso, that's exactly what this year felt like. Constantly shifting, especially in business, constantly shifting and pivoting and trying to make it work. This window here is worn out. Part of it's open, part of it's closed. And I'm like, yes. I think as all peoples, and if you're like business owners especially, maybe, we just feel worn out. And part of me's open and part of me's closed. Everything in here has some symbolism. This paper of the column, like trying to build and keep building my business, and even just building my own personal growth this year, I just was hanging on. The moth, a butterfly, that's that constant change and shift and working and growing and all those kinds of things. I wrote a lot because I had a lot to say about this last year. And how messy everything was. Every time I tried to plan for something, it just didn't seem to work. And then I've got these vintage crosses, because that's the thing that helped me hang on, was my faith. It helped me, like I'm grasping for all that I have, holding on to my faith. And then over here, these little birds in the corner, hopefully they look like birds. They're up there. They're floating. They're looking. They're soaring. And yet it's still very chaotic in this mess. And that's kind of where I feel like I'm at. I'm continuing to reflect. I'm continuing to, analyze everything. But man alive. So that is my journal page. Lots and lots of emotion in it. And it was surprising to me. It caught me by surprise, because I have kind of moved out of my depression. I'm, feeling good and strong and all those things. And when I started to think about that the last year, it just caught me by surprise. And our journals are so, so incredibly important. And I know that not every one of you journal, but if you don't journal, maybe you should think about it. Maybe you write it, then maybe it's just a journal where you write it out. I do both. But it was so therapeutic to kind of see on my journal page how I was feeling and what this last year represented, and it just felt good to just let it out, because it was like a brain dump when you're writing. I just let it out, and I'm like, okay, I can move on. But it was so, so therapeutic. And I don't know what your year has held. And I don't know how you plan for the new year. I know I always start thinking, I'm like, I was thinking about my new word for the year to come. And I'm like, I don't even know. I'm a planner, so it's really hard for me not to plan and think ahead. And it's so difficult right now. It's like one day at a time. And sometimes that's all we can do is one day at a time. So I don't know what your 2021 held, but I hope that you have a practice where you can celebrate the victories and the wins, whether it's in your art journal or whether you write just write in a journal. Someplace, something where you get to celebrate the victories and the defeats, where you get to celebrate the good and the bad, where you get to just let it all out. Because it's so therapeutic to you, to your soul, to all of your things. And I just wanted to share how my process came about and to give you some encouragement that sometimes in the most unexpected times we get this rush of emotion about things, whether it's the year or whatever each of us have been going through, and we all have our story. It's okay to feel that. It's okay to process it. And it's especially okay to process it in our art journal pages and not let it be anything pretty. This page is chaotic. And at one point I was like, I don't know if I should share this, because it was so raw and it's so grungy and it's so unexpected for typically my style. But that vulnerability in it, that vulnerability connects us to each other. To know that we're all more alike than we are different. And so I decided to share it, and this page was wonderful. And so I encourage you to feel all the feelings of 2021 or whatever you're going through, and allow room and space for you to process all those things. Because we can't hold it in, because if we do, that creates anger and bitterness, and that doesn't serve anybody, including especially ourselves. So loves, let it all out. Let it all out, whatever you got going on. And if you had a wonderful year, yes, journal that out too. Put all your gratitude down. Oh, we need to see those gratitude moments sometimes and be reminded. All right, my loves, that is my Sunday inspiration for you. I hope that as you start to reflect on the past year and think about the new year, that you are able to move through and process through all of the things that have happened, that you find areas of gratitude and thankfulness, which I did. Even in this mess, I did. There's so much to be grateful for. Process it all, and whether you do it in your art, or you write it, or you sing it, or you dance it, whatever it is, process it all and let it all happen, and don't hold it in, because it'll make you better. Have a wonderful Sunday, my loves, and always, always know that you are loved.